Okay, welcome to week 32 for Functional Skills English. As always, there are some warm-up questions just to get you started. Have a little look at those for me. Maybe pause the video, give yourself sort of 4 or 5 minutes just to have a read through and jot your answers down. Okay, so we're going to move on from the 5 a day. It is all about the speaking and listening this week. We are moving back to the speaking and listening. So the majority of you will have had the opportunity to begin researching and thinking about your topics for the speaking and listening assessment. This was something that we looked at in the 2 weeks prior to the Christmas break, and I know we've had a good little while since then. So some of you may not have completed them, some of you may not remember them. So we're going to use this session just to kind of recap what we're thinking of, what we're after, because in the next couple of weeks we are going to start having a go at those and filming some of those group discussions and talks and presentations and things. So, as a bit of a starter, I just want you to think about, what is your favourite film, book, TV series, or game? Pick one of those to focus on, and I want you to write down what you like about it and give an opinion. Explain to me why it is your favourite. Okay, so just make a note of those for me. So the plan of action for today's session, we're going to recap, what those speaking and listening assessments are going to involve. And then you're going to be given the chance to continue that research and preparation for your assessments. We are going to focus mostly on the group discussion because that's what we want to try and have a go at first. But if you then finish those, which some of you may well do, we can move on to thinking about the talk and the presentations. So what are these assessments? So when we say speaking and listening, there are two parts to your speaking and listening sort of element. One of those at all levels is a group discussion, and the topic for that group discussion is online safety, and that's non-negotiable. We're going with that topic. It's a really important topic, and there's lots of different areas to do with that you can sort of research and find information about. The other element, okay, and this will be depending on your level, is either a talk or a presentation. And we are being relatively flexible. The topic is your choice, but if you cannot choose your own topic, if you cannot come up with something that you want to talk about for the length of time required for your level, we will assign a topic to you. So you will have to then research that and talk about that topic. So best you have a little think for us what you might like to talk about. I'll give a bit more information about this in just a moment. So let's just put it into perspective. So at entry three students, you'll be working with other entry level students. You won't be mixing with other levels. The discussion is around 8 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes is ideal because it gives everyone a chance to share their ideas. Level 1, your discussion must be a minimum of 10 minutes. Level 2's, your discussion needs to be a minimum of 15 minutes. At entry 3, there is a talk, and you can talk about 1 or 2 topics if you want to. So you can talk about 2 small topics if you really want to. And you need to be talking for around 3 to 4 minutes. And then the people that you give your talk to can ask you some questions on your topic, and then you'll swap round. You'll become part of the audience, and the next person will give their talk, and you will have to ask them a question. Level 1's relatively similar. You need to be aiming for around 4 minutes plus for your talk on your topic. And again, you will give your talk, and then your audience can ask you some questions, and you'll swap round. You'll become an audience member, and then you will also ask questions to the others when they give their talks. Level 2's, yours is slightly more formal. It is a presentation. This needs to last around 5 minutes. If you can do a little bit more, that's grand, but it needs to be 5 minutes minimum on the topic of your choice. Now, You can have a presentation if you want to, a PowerPoint presentation, but we don't advise it because there's the potential to have lots of text on the screen. And if your audience are looking at that text, they're not listening to you. And again, at level 2, you would give your presentation to your small group. You would be asked some questions from your audience, and then you swap round and you become part of the audience for the next person, and you would ask them some questions. So let's just try and put that into perspective for a moment. There are certain things that we are looking for, certain skills that we need to see that you can do across these discussions and these talks and presentations. So first of all, and this is across both elements, we need to see that you can share ideas and information and your opinions in a clear way. So what you explain, what you share needs to be understandable. It needs to be clear. Get your opinions out there. That's sort of a key tip. What we also need to see, particularly at level 1 and level 2, is that you can extend your points and ideas, that you can develop them. And what we mean by this is we're not getting yes and no answers, that we're not just getting short, sharp points. You can build up your ideas. Give us opinions. If you tell us something, tell us why. If you're telling us, for instance, that your favourite book is Harry Potter, tell me about, why is Harry Potter your favourite book? What made you like it? What made you sort of want to read it in the first place? So we're going to develop and build up those points, just like we do in our writing. We build up our ideas, we build up our points from one sentence into paragraphs. We go that bit further, and we need to do the same when we are talking. We also need to see in the group discussions that you can take turns. And what I mean by that is not that you are just presenting your information, your ideas that you have found, but that it goes back and forwards between the participants. You are having a conversation. So listening into what the others are saying, commenting on their points. So if somebody suggests something, you might agree with them, you might disagree with them, but tell us why, remember. You might have something that you can add to what they've said, a point that goes alongside what they've shared. Add it in. Ask them questions. It's really, really important to help keep the discussion moving, that we can ask questions to each other and get other people to share their ideas and opinions as well. When it comes to the talks and presentations, not only are we looking to see that you can share ideas and information and make extended points like we just discussed, but we also need to see that after you have given your talk or presentation, that you can answer some questions from your little audience. Each of your audience members will ask you at least one question, but it will be linked to the topic that you've just talked about. After that, we will now then need to see that you can become part of the audience and that you also can ask questions to others. So it shows that you were listening and paying attention to their, talk or presentation, and that you are then able to ask them questions linked to that as well. So these are all things that we look for. These are all things that an assessor will sort of need to evidence and show that you can do. So these are things that you guys need to bear in mind. And to help you achieve all of this, we need to research the topics that you are focusing on. So online safety and whatever other topic you have chosen for your talk and presentation, you need to research it. You need to write some notes. Those notes cannot be a script. So you cannot write word for word on your sheet of paper what you want to say, because that is reading off of a bit of paper. That's not presenting or giving a talk. That's not joining in a group discussion. Okay, so the notes need to be bullet points. It could be a mind map if you want to, if that works better for you, that's absolutely fine. But bullet points, short, sharp ideas, perhaps things like any facts or statistics that you find about your topic. we wouldn't expect you to remember those off of the top of your head. So it's fair to say you could use those to prompt you, to remind you whilst you are giving your discussion or talk. That is fair enough, but we cannot have a word for word script. We do need to have a set of notes for both your group discussion and your talk or presentation. It is really, really important that you do create some and submit those, even if you feel you don't need them. We need those as part of the evidence that we submit to the exam board alongside the discussion or talk that you do. This is evidence that we give to show how you have got on in your speaking and listening assessments. So we do need these. So what we're going to do in this session, you are going to need to finish preparing some notes for those group discussions next week. If you finish researching and preparing for the online safety topic, that's absolutely fine. And you can start thinking about your talk or presentation notes and begin researching that topic. But to help you, we have got some bits on Learn. So if you have a look at Learn here, you need to remember, so when we access Learn, instead of going off to your tile, when you click on your tile, so you go to My Courses, you click FS English, Golf, for instance, or whichever group you are in, and it will take you to your page like this. We've got this bit at the top here that access your functional skills weekly teaching resources. So if you click on this, this will take you to the week that we need to focus on. So we will need to scroll down to the week that we are on, and it will be highlighted, so don't worry, you won't skip past it. So we will need to go to the week 8th of March to the 14th of March. I'm recording this in advance, so it won't highlight that week, but we need to click on this week here, 8th of March to the 14th of March, and it will open up this folder for us. In this folder, you have got a couple of things to help you with your research for online safety. First of all, we've got this one that says discussion notes. If you click on discussion notes, it will open up a document such as this that you can see here on the screen. Now, please remember to pop your name on it. It is rather blank, but we've divided it into some sections to help you organise your research. So first of all, it is worth having a look and having a think about the different online dangers that are out there. There's a whole host of them. There are also lots of examples. There is research. There are statistics about how often these things happen, how many people and what types of people these things happen to, that you can find on the internet. I'm sure you can already think of several tips or ideas for helping people to stay safe online. So please put some together. That will be very helpful, perhaps at a certain point in your discussion. But again, there is also room towards the bottom to come up with some questions that you could ask the other people in your group about online safety. Okay, it's really important that you think of some and pre-prepare some questions that you could use, because if you find that there is a lull in the conversation, there's a bit where people are not quite sure what to say, you can always double check your questions and use that as a way of getting the conversation going again. So it is really, really important. 3 is a good amount. You could do more, but I suggest you come up with at least 3 questions that you could ask to the group. So you need to be filling this in. You need to be trying to collate and put together your different ideas, information and notes. You can add other things to this. You don't have to follow this format if it doesn't work for you, but this is just a starting point that might help you. You do, however, then need to save a copy of that and then submit this document here. So where it says speaking, listening and communication assessment discussion notes, you need to click on this part here. It is an assignment that you can submit. So whatever kind of way you have saved, okay, it will show differently here because I'm a teacher, but you would need to click on it in order to submit your document. But you can submit Word documents, you can submit notepad documents, whatever kind of way you are saving your notes and your ideas, we can submit it. Okay, it can take lots of different file formats. If you are not sure where to go, where to begin your sort of research for this topic, if you click here on the online safety topic, another document will come up. And this is one that perhaps you may have seen before because we shared it with you in our notebooks back before Christmas. And remember, you can always access your notebook if you've already got some research going on in there that you can use to put together on your notes page. So this document starts off by asking you some questions just to get you thinking about the topic, what you already know, how you feel about it. You might be able to give some examples already for different ideas. That's to sort of get the ball rolling. It also gives you some suggestions here of, what potential dangers there are out there online, and, as a starting point that you could research, find out information about, and some examples about that you might be able to then share with your group. And if you are, not sure where to begin with the online research, if you click on this link here that is included in the document, it will take you to a pin board that I've created online that has got lots of different resources to begin with. So they're all together on one page that you can click on. It should hopefully show up in a moment. It's just going to take a moment to load on the page. Padlet is the name of this website. We use it sometimes to sort of put resources together. So obviously you can use Google, you can use whatever search engine suits you. And of course it's going to go mega slow. But never mind. So yes, on this page will be sort of lots of sort of different websites that you can click on, and it will take you through to different subtopics. Some of them might give you hints and tips on safety. Some of them might give you examples. All sorts there that you can see. Oh, we might be getting somewhere. So here you go, you can see it there. So it is a bit like a pinboard, like I've stuck different post-it notes on it. But each of these sort of tiles that you can see are different websites or different online articles that are all talking about online safety and some of the dangers. Some of them link to sort of online safety in lockdown. That's always very relevant to be thinking about, considering the amount of time that we've had to be spending online and studying online in the last year. And again, thinking about the way it's changed how we study. It's incredibly important now more than ever to be safe online. So there's all sorts there that you can have a look at, ladies and gents. Use that as a starting point. Remember, you can take those facts and statistics from those different articles and web pages, but remember, we don't want great big chunks of writing. We just want little bullet point ideas, so little bits of information to help remind you of what you want to say. So that is the plan for today. That is what you need to do. Please remember that you need to submit this. If this is not submitted by March the 12th, we won't have a copy of what you've got, and we need that in order for you to do your group discussions, and we need that to register your attendance this week as well. So incredibly important, guys. Thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you all next.